Welcome to the Required Taste podcast. We're back, and it's Sunday again, and we got to stop doing this on Sundays.
You know, I agree because like Sundays are my favorite day to not be around anybody.
Yeah, we got to cut it in half right in the middle of that day to stop from the one day we have to do nothing.
I ordered a pizza and I've been playing Final Fantasy all day. Like, yeah, this is pretty. It's been pretty great for me. And here you guys are.
Sundays are hard.
Sundays are my favorite. Well, except for the fact that Monday's the next day, but you know.
Yeah.
But like Sunday's the one day that nobody expects me to hang out because most of us all work on Monday. So it's like the one day like people are like, okay, we're not going out.
I got this to myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we're not going to the bar. We're not going out to eat. We're just get our one last bit of freedom in before the shackles of work bring us back down.
The shackles.
It is, bastards. So here we are. We're back. We're also back in town finally.
Oh yeah, that was a really good trip.
Yeah, it didn't start off great.
Yeah, it definitely didn't.
Did not fucking start off great. So Martinez, shout out to our boy who's been one of our biggest fans since the jump. He actually wants to tell the story of our journey and our adventure in Philly. So first and foremost, we love Philly. Philly was a great time. Like we did the tourist stuff. We went to some really good restaurants, really cool bars, met some cool people out there.
Yeah, cool food, cool music.
Had a great show. Yeah, that show was amazing. We were out there to see Balance Composure. They broke up back in like 2017, 2018?
Yeah, probably like 2018, 2019.
Okay, well, they broke up, and by the time that I had heard of them, DJ put me on them, and by the time I had heard of them, they had already broken up. I'm like, man, these guys are amazing. I'd love to see them. And like, well, they broke up. I'm like, oh.
That's how I felt when I discovered the Civil Wars. They had already broken up, and I was like, what? Why?
Right? Like, why am I late?
I just got here.
Right? It's the worst betrayal. And they ended up getting back together and making some music, and they're now back together forever. So we decided to drive, what was that, 700 miles?
Yeah, it was 738 miles.
So 11 hours, essentially.
One way, yeah.
One way, yeah. It's about, So we all piled into my car, and we drove out 11 hours in the night. Had a few stops, pit stops, it was cool.
And fucking Pennsylvania is a beautiful state to drive through.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that Pennsylvania has so much topography. Like
Mount Tussie.
Damn the Tussie.
Excuse me? What?
It's a lot of mountains.
It's a lot of mountains, and apparently there was a mountain called Mount Tussie.
And, we were sure?
We were inside of it.
we were around and inside of it. We were
all up in that thing. Like the magic school bus.
We went through some tunnels of Tussie.
Inside. All around it.
We ruined Brandy. My bad. My bad, B.
God damn it.
Yeah, there was a lot of tunnels in and out of Tussie, so we made it through. And we finally fucking arrive, and it's like 11 or like
like 11:30, midnight, something.
And
like that.
We get there, and we find this Airbnb that we had rented, and man,
in Chinatown, have you?
In my defense, I didn't pick this one. I'm just not gonna die.
Yeah, we weren't part of the.
I didn't pick this, but anyways, so it was in Chinatown, and there was it was hard to find the place because it was nighttime, and I messaged the guy, the Airbnb dude. I'm like, hey man, where's the door at? He sends me a picture.
Where's the door?
There's like a bunch of it's like a Chinese restaurant, a bar, and there's like a door, just a random door with no sign on it in the middle of the two, with a keypad next to it. I'm like, oh, okay. Whoa. So we find parking, walk over there, punch the code, and get up to the room. So I punched the other code in. It's like a phone number damn near code to get into the actual
There's
room.
one of those little like holes where they slide.
Yeah, I swear Aaron would like bend
what's
down.
The password?
He was down there for like 3 minutes. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Put this long ass code in.
Well,
He's asking me a riddle.
An ancient Chinese secret.
God damn it, man.
Which I knew the answer to apparently. So we got into the room.
Some guy walks up to you, hands you a fortune cookie. You have to break it open.
Scrolls out.
Right. I got Mortal Kombat again. I'm sending in Charlie this time. So we enter the room, click on the light, and the first thing I fucking see is a roach staring at me.
Oh God!
In the
kitchen. No.
Yeah, like the roach wasn't expecting us.
Right.
Like, it was like, oh.
He was like, shit.
Huh.
Y'all got this place?
This is awkward.
Y'all, you're not, okay. I'll go next door.
So we're good in there, and we started looking around. So I messaged the guy from the Airbnb. I'm like, hey, man, we found a roach in here. He's like, well, that's odd. There shouldn't be any roaches in there. We cleaned the place, da-da-da. He showed me a picture. I'm like, okay. So as we're inspecting
He's like, oh, that's just Jason.
Yeah, because once we saw the one roach, we turned into a crime investigation scene.
Right.
I would too.
And we were like, let's scan
Bust the black light out.
We were shaking all the fucking furniture. Like,
we weren't trusting a goddamn thing. So we were looking around the place. We find like there was a dead roach in the fridge. There was like fucking there was one on the ceiling in the bathroom and that was the bathroom in my room.
One on the carpet. There was a tick in the bathtub.
Right, tick in the bath. There was ants in one of the light fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
That was something.
I'm so glad I did not go with you.
Oh yeah, it would have.
And then I found a whole fucking roach trap.
Yeah,
in one of the small cabinets that was in the
kitchen.
In the kitchen. Right, and. Because I will open every single door that's in an Airbnb we get there.
I think we talked about that last week.
So like I was like, there was like one little door. I was like, I gotta look. I gotta see what's in there. And then sure enough, there was a trap with just a fuckload of dead roaches on it.
Oh my God.
So I'm messaging the dude. He's like,
I'm gonna go sleep in the car.
Right. We considered it actually. So I'm talking to the Airbnb dude while we're trying to find another place to stay, and he was like, oh, I'll refund you guys tonight. There's another room that'll be ready tomorrow. Da da da. I'm like, but it's in the same building, on the same floor.
You're like, nah.
That's not how roaches work, my guy. Like that's not at all how this operates. So
it's not like they're like, oh shit, the door's shut. We can't leave.
Right. Whatever shall we do? Like, come on, dude. So I ended up finding a hotel for the next day, but that night we had nothing. We could not find a place for that night. We could not find anywhere else to go.
We had to stay there.
We had to stay there.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So we vigorously shook out every piece of furniture that we slept on, like everything.
Yeah, my hoodie. I had like this motherfucker like tied up like this too.
Right. Well, see, I get hot when I sleep, so I'm usually sleeping like shorts and a t-shirt if I'm like in public.
Yeah.
Or not. But anyways,
you're like, how soon can Amazon Prime get me a hazmat suit?
Yeah, I was in my shirt. I slept fully clothed too. I wasn't going to have like something crawling on me in the middle, and I slept on both the covers, which I was just like, it's terrible. So we ended up refunding. We had to pay for half of a night, and then the rest he refunded me.
Jesus
Whatever. Christ. Then we found this we went to this bar next door first because I'm like, we just drove 11 hours. I need a fucking beer, and a shot or two, 5. Yeah. And we went to this fucking is a bar, hookah lounge, club deal going on in Chinatown. It actually wasn't terrible. I would have hated it otherwise, but I was just ready
loud
for
music, young people in their 20s.
Right.
Just fucking doing shots, smoking some hookah.
Yep. It was interesting. It was very interesting. But we left there, found a chicken spot that was open till like 6 in the morning.
Yeah, that was pretty good too.
That chicken spot was fire. I'm not gonna hold you up on that one. That was actually pretty good shit. It was like this little hood chicken spot. It was what we needed.
Yeah, Crown's Chicken.
Crown Chicken. Shout out to them. That shit was good. So anyways, we ended up falling asleep, thankfully. And I found this hotel that was fucking super nice the next day.
Yeah, it was nice.
So I ended up biting a couple $100 of it, but I don't give a fuck. We couldn't. There was no. And it was like the day before, so we couldn't find any place that was like open because there was an event going on in Philly. There was a bunch of going on in Philly when we were there. So like booking hotels was damn near impossible. So I found I'm like, dude, I can't find like a reasonable one. I'm going high end. Screw it, because like ain't nobody else paying for this shit. So like, and I found luck. So we had a really nice hotel after that. Thankfully, I had my own room. I had to make DJ and Charlie snuggle, but it was good. Other than that, the journey itself was after that it was looking up.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, because when we got there, Aaron was like, "Man, fuck Philadelphia. Like this fucking town sucks. This whole city
is a curse."
Oh, I was about to ready to burn the motherfucker to the ground. Really?
Oh my god.
Yeah, because like we just spent 11 hours in a car, and we're like, "Are we gonna sleep in the car now after this?"
I thought about it.
Like, what the fuck,
I definitely thought about it. But like my luggage actually seals, so I'm like, okay, like at least I know my clothes won't be fucking infected and shit. Like it's goddamn. Roaches and shit. I've never had roaches in my goddamn life, man. I ain't trying to live like that.
Neither have I.
36 years old.
I went with my ex-boyfriend to go pick up a car part one time. He bought a car part on like Craigslist or something.
Sure.
And we went somewhere in Illinois to get it, and the guy like throws it in the back of his truck, and they exchange money, and the guy takes off. And he goes back to like adjust it in the bed of his truck, and he like moves the box, and like 50 roaches come scattering out of the box, and I'm like, nope. Lighting the truck on fire. Bye. Oh,
Right.
It was nasty.
Yeah, that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, sounds like Fort Heist type shit.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, it was definitely fucking janky as fuck. But like I said, after that though, we were tourists for one day. We went to Love Park. That was tight.
Yeah.
We
some sightseeing.
Yeah, we found a Rocky statue, found the steps.
Nice.
Found his footprints up there. That was cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Tiny little feet.
Stallone does not have very large feet.
Really?
No, not at all. Like I want to say
what's shoe size?
he's smaller than your feet, Deej.
Yeah, I wear size 10.
Huh.
And
I thought you were size 9.
No, size 10.
Are you lying for the internet?
Size 10, baby.
Your
You want to
shit
check my fucking my tongue? You want to check my tongues? You can take a look.
Later. after we record it.
After I leave.
It's gonna be a little weird.
Yeah, I'm a size 10, and then when my work boots, for some reason, boots, it's a 9.5.
That's weird.
I don't know why.
Because normally it goes the opposite way.
Yeah, I don't know why boots have to be 9.5.
Because I wear a size 12, but I wear 13 in steel toes.
Do you wear like thicker socks when you wear boots?
I mean, my work boots, yeah, for the most part. But yeah, even like my Doc Martens, I mean, those aren't really boots, but those I have to get 9.5. Yeah.
So I wasn't crazy. You are 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5 for
And
boots,
boots.
and then 10 for the Vans. Yeah.
It's weird, man.
Interesting.
I'm a size 12 everywhere except for steel toes, but that's because it's steel toe.
Do you got one of those weird fucking middle toes that's like long and gangly and shit?
So every
Is that
man
why?
in my family has that. Like
Yeah,
that's like a Ramirez thing. Every single man in my family has that weird gangly second
The Slender
toe.
Man toe that's
Yeah.
just like extra long.
No, mine are in a row.
You know?
They're fine. I mean, they're webbed, but you know, other than
They're
that.
webbed.
Webbed.
My two middle toes? Yeah.
It's got webbed toes.
Yeah, two middle ones.
Your
Yep.
ancestors be swimming?
No. Not at all. Very black about it, actually. I can tell you right now that my dad thinks like a fucking rock. And my mother doesn't go close enough to water to find
shit.
out. So
I wish.
I'm the only one that even goes near water. And I can swim barely, but I also have the problem where I stay like a goddamn rock. So like staying afloat in lake water, terrible. Ocean water, not as bad.
Am I the best swimmer
water.
at this table?
I mean, you're not really at the table, but yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Here's an accomplishment. I mean, here's a fucking trophy, I guess. I mean, not by water right now, though.
Very rarely better at other people than things. So
There we go. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, like, thankfully, like the ocean, because it's salt water, is easier to be
easy
buoyant.
float. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the easy sauce. I learned how to swim in salt water though, so I learned on easy mode, and then life happened.
We had a pool when I was growing up. We had like the shallow end and the deep end of the pool, and I wasn't allowed to go. We had like a separator, and I wasn't allowed to go into the deep end. And one day, I was like little, and I was like, I could probably swim. And I just went under the thing, and you know, my parents weren't looking, and I was like,
Right.
okay, this isn't hard. And I was just swimming.
There you
and
go.
then my mom comes out and she's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yes, children living to give their parents heart attacks since the beginning.
Yep.
Hell yeah. But that was our journey to Philly, though. It was a good time. Like I said, I actually would go back.
Yeah, the food was good. When we went to the show, like
Show was amazing.
music scene in Philly was fucking really cool.
I never knew that Philly had such a great music scene until I went there.
Yeah, honestly,
that place is fucking crazy.
Yeah, like hardcore music, regular hip hop, like and they really do everything there. And
Nice.
like,
Yeah.
I did a meet and greet with the band before the show, and these guys met me there. And when they met me, it was Ishkabibbles.
It's a bitch.
Ishkabibbles.
There we go.
And it was one of the many cheesesteak places that people had recommended us because we
Right.
had so many fucking recommendations. But this one was right across the street from where I was doing the meet and greet.
Right. It just kind of worked out.
Yeah, and they showed up and they were like, "Oh, this is the part of town where like our people are,
Well, yeah, everybody's like alternatively dressed. Like everybody's had tattoos everywhere and
Yeah.
shit. I'm like, oh, this is where our people are.
We found our people.
Right? Like there was a place, Tattooed Mom, that you wanted to meet us at that you weren't at when I got there.
Well, I was, and then I walked
Then
across the
I wasn't.
street.
I was, and then I wasn't.
I called Aaron like it was in the fucking movie Scream, and I was just watching him try to find me.
Fucking hate this guy sometimes.
Like you're getting warmer. You're getting nope.
No, I just
cold.
stood there. I'm like, you fine. You come to me. Like, the fuck you mean? Fucking, we the museum that the steps where the Rocky thing happened. So we're at Love Park and we look down the street. Like, oh, it's right there. We can walk that. I mean, we did.
Yeah, we walked it. Yeah,
Was it farther than you thought it was?
Infinitely farther than we thought it was.
it wasn't that bad. Don't let them get you.
We took a break halfway through it. Don't act like we were fucking like a straight shot. No, we stopped and had a water break.
Yeah, we did that. We didn't know this, but Victory Brewing was like on the way, and that like I stopped drinking for a little bit, but that had one of my favorite beers of like all time, and I was like, oh shit, they're here in Philly, so we did a pit stop there, and then
They had a rooftop bar. That was nice.
yeah, it was really.
So we took like a
really
little
cool.
break. Had some. We all had water. I had a beer though, but still.
Oh man, I want to go to a rooftop. I haven't been to a rooftop bar in forever, years.
We know of a few actually
Yeah, there's
in the city.
a
Yeah.
couple cool ones.
Because I haven't been to the city. I like never go to the city anymore.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I know.
yeah,
it
it's
is.
like fucking 3 times a week now for me. It's
Yeah.
it's
Damn.
ridiculous.
Well, we'll make a required taste trip to Chicago. Required taste in the city.
Yeah.
yes.
Man,
Oh, yeah.
that Italian food we had in Philly, that was like, fuck whatever cheesesteak. Like, in my mind, like, cheesesteaks are okay, but like, they're very low on the totem pole for me. I don't really give a fuck about it. It was good.
It was great. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Good cheesesteak.
Gotta have one while you're there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, right.
But we went to this Italian restaurant and
Remember
like,
the name of it right now. Give me a second here. I got to pull up my
yeah,
map.
because like we could pronounce nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing on the
Well,
menu,
That's
the
how you
name
know
of the
it's good.
place. Everybody spoke Italian that worked there. Like
That's
all
how
the
you
waiters, all the waitresses are fucked. We sat at the bar. Marco was serving us.
Yeah, Marco. Shout out to Marco. He was
And-
cool as fuck.
He probably had
It
killed
was,
some motherfuckers back in the.
Was his name Marco or Marco?
Marco.
Marco.
Yeah.
Cafe. Ooh, I cannot pronounce
Yeah,
Let me
right.
see.
that. There.
Like Italian's hard.
Gran Cafe La Chia.
We're gonna go
No,
with
that would be the Spanish pronunciation.
We're close. That's still Latinish.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
There we go. It's L apostrophe AQUILA. So if you want to look that up, if you're ever
Yeah.
near Philly, if you go to Philly, that place is dope.
Oh, my
so we
God.
were at this like most places you ever travel to, you want to get the lay of the land, talk to a fucking bartender. So we're at this whiskey place waiting for our hotel check-in, and this guy Shane.
Yeah, Shane Phillips.
There we go. Shout out to Shane as well. Whiskey. What was that place called? Whiskey something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Anyways, so we're sitting there having a bev and talking to this dude, real cool guy. And we're like, oh, we're from out of town, like, Village Whiskey is what it's called. He's like, oh, that's cool, we're me and him talking about sports, whatever. But he's like, well, here's a list of places you guys got to go to. That place was on the list. So we're like, cool, we'll go there later. And we did. And apparently the owner of it was like a award-winning gelato maker from Italy and
What?
came to America.
Yeah.
What?
Straight
So
up.
everybody that worked there, like Deej said, was Italian. Spoke Italian fluently, including the servers. This dude was
Yeah.
black. This dude was very black
Yeah.
and spoke fluent Italian. Like
All
I think
of
it's a
them.
requirement to work there. You have to speak Italian.
Yeah.
Like,
And like we saw a guy walking around.
oh, he was a made man.
Who was like obviously either like owned it or operated that place.
Yeah.
Just like with a solid ass pinky ring on.
The
just
hair
kinda-
slicked back.
Just checking everybody,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, super fucking Italian.
But it was like one of those like where it's like a small plate kind of deal, but it's like
Oh,
really,
God.
really good.
yeah.
Yeah, the meal because me and Aaron were like torn. We were like, because sometimes when we go out, we like to just order a lot and me and him share it.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll get like 2 meals of something we both like, and we're like, all right, we're gonna fucking,
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And one of them, it was ravioli with veal, wild boar.
Wild
I
boar.
don't know about what. I think it was some kind of like spicy Italian sausage. or
Yeah, something like that.
And then
Baby
it had.
seal.
It was delicious.
They put the gelato, a vanilla gelato truffle on top of the ravioli.
What?
Yeah, and like I had
was
never
insane.
had gelato anyway.
Oh, you've
And
been
then-
spoiled
Wait,
now.
you've never
that
had
was
gelato?
it.
Yeah, and then I had that, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing that's ever been in my mouth in my whole fucking life.
Well, now the problem is that you've had it from one of the best places to ever get it from.
Yeah.
Like you ruined it.
It's going to be a disappointment.
Right.
It was just like
Gelato's really good though. Like,
Yeah, I'm a fan.
It's
Yeah.
hard. It's like hard to like have bad gelato, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
yeah,
But-
I was because like when it said gelato, I was like, okay, so they put it on the side, and then like they brought it out, and then he drops the thing on top of it. I was like,
That's
hey
so
man,
weird.
that's my fucking food. You just dropped
My
ice
uncle
cream
didn't give
on
a
it.
fuck. You gotta eat what I gave you.
But it was like absolutely necessary. That
Yeah.
it was so good.
Yeah, because we all shared. So like,
Yeah.
I got one thing. Him and Charlie got different things. So we all like kind of just shared the plate essentially. It was all amazing.
The dessert too. Oh my god.
Yeah, y'all got dessert. I got like another meat course.
Yeah, he literally got a second fucking meal. Like we were eating dessert, and he was
Really?
like, "Well, I'm gonna get this appetizer. That's
was so
basically a
hungry.
meal."
Yeah.
It was like 2 chicken thighs with gravy and asparagus.
Yeah,
It
that
was
chicken was fire,
amazing.
too.
I shared that too. But yeah, it was amazing. And then we had cafe.
Yeah. So espressos.
Oh, nice.
Couple,
Yep.
you know.
Man, I want some
Delicious.
Italian food now.
It was so fucking.
I want to go get some Italian food. Some
gonna have to-
carbonara.
We're gonna figure this out. All right, required taste.
Let's go.
Get Italian.
Yeah, that place was cool. And then even we found another cool fucking dive bar.
Starts with an
It was McGingley's
McGlinchey's.
McGlinchey's.
Yeah.
Yeah, McGlinchey's. That had a real cool fucking bartender. Shout out to Moon. She was another cool fucking bartender we saw out there that was just, a real good hospitality, showed us a good time, all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She was super dope, super nice.
Yeah.
Definitely got me a little drunk. That was cool. I appreciated it. It was nice.
Yeah,
It
we
was-
love a good dive bartender.
love
They
a
don't
dive
fuck
bar.
around. They, and if you're cool with them, they're cool with you. You can have a real good time.
Hell yeah. Like it was like a beer and a shot type of place.
Yeah,
Like
cash only bar.
cash
And
only.
they'll tell you the good places too. They're not gonna be like, oh yeah, no, this touristy place or that touristy.
Well, he went on an adventure with her. I went.
Yeah. We hung out a little bit after when she got out of work, and she took me to this other bar that everyone was playing chess in, which was really cool. I was like, yeah, that's not like you don't usually see that, and I was just like,
Interesting.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
I was sleeping.
Yeah, super
Very. I was knocked the fuck out.
Yeah,
Glorious.
sounds about right.
Hell yeah, it was. Oh man, yeah, that place was great. Like I said, the whiskey place was cool. We went to Rittenhouse Park.
Yeah, that's where we stayed by Rittenhouse Park.
Yeah, that park was super cool, super chill. Like if I lived in that area, I'd be there every day. Like
Nice.
it's like a cool place to sit and just read a book.
Yeah.
Like there was a a guitar and drummer playing.
Real cool, like indie,
Like laid back,
instrumental
chill.
music.
Yeah, they were just playing.
Wow.
Oh, what was an instrumental? There was.
Oh yeah, she
vocals.
was singing. Yeah,
Yep.
she was singing.
But it was super chill. So we're just sitting there, just watching. Like we had our protein drinks for the morning. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
nice.
Just the vibes were like way up here.
It was super fucking high.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the whole like city of brotherly love thing is real. Like those people, everybody there was fucking super nice.
Super nice.
cool.
Yeah, nobody like the first bar we went into, people kept bumping into Aaron, but immediately apologizing.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like,
Yeah.
I'm used to people bumping into me and making it my problem.
Yeah,
Giving you the fucking
in,
head
in
nod.
Right.
Chicago, someone will bump into you and be like, "Hey, what's your problem, man?"
Fucking walking
You're like,
here.
"You
Right.
ran into me."
Yep. Then it's a fight on site. It's,
Yeah. See,
pretty-
Philly is like not the coolest city I've ever been to, but definitely had one of the best times in Philly. Good people. Everything was
Yeah, for
everything
sure.
was
I would
solid.
go there again.
Yeah, for sure.
I plan on going there again at some point in the future.
Yeah, I'll definitely
I'm
be back
flying
in
this
Philly.
time though, man. I'm not driving a fucking 11 hours.
Dude, you know what? The flights are cheap, honestly. Like,
Well, it was a holiday weekend. We went Father's Day and Juneteenth
yeah.
weekend.
Well, even that next day, I was looking at tickets, and they were only like $100, like $117.
That's not bad.
For a round trip.
That's
yeah.
very doable. That's
That was
very,
like,
very
yeah.
doable.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be pretty tight. We'll talk about that in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Philly will be back. This time with a vengeance.
And no roaches.
And no fucking roaches.
Yeah, let's get the same hotel too.
I might. The hotel was actually cheaper. It would have been cheaper if we booked it ahead.
Yeah.
Because like I got a discount on that shit anyway. Not the point. Yeah, that hotel was nice. It was like right in the downtown area, so it was like walking distance of everything we wanted to do anyways.
I'll
Yeah.
go with next time if you can promise that there won't be any roaches.
Well, the same. If we do the same hotel again, I think we're going to be good. We're going to be
All right.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're going to do a podcast episode. We're just in here.
Yeah, we usually ask a question, but we had the Philly trip to talk about. We were like,
oh yeah, and Montanez did request it, so I mean, we got to listen to the people.
that is true. And I've asked a lot of questions. I mean, I don't know how many episodes we're at right now, but that's
65.
Yeah, so that's 65 questions I've had to fucking think of, and I'm kind of like,
DJ's really not that inquisitive.
it gets hard. It gets hard, dude.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, what's your favorite color?
Indeed. Because I don't even wear my favorite color most of the time. Well, I guess my shorts are, but still. Anyways, we'll get there one day. We'll talk about that.
We start answering that question.
We'll get to that next time.
Like, well, sometimes it depends on my mood.
So we are back this week with another topic. This one's kind of interesting. It's not going to be very long, but it's damn, it's fucking interesting though, because I didn't know what even happened.
This is one of those things like, okay, so this topic actually, I don't remember the gentleman's name who brought it up to me, but it's when we did the Foreign Local party at, or the Required Taste party at Foreign Local.
Yeah.
And later on in the night, there was a group of guys there. I don't even think they were there for the podcast show, but they just happened to be there. And I got into a discussion with the guy, and he was asking about what was going on here, this and that. And I told him about the podcast, and he had told me about this event, and I was like,
Yep.
that's interesting, and I fucking jotted it down real quick.
I've heard another podcast talk about this, like a while ago, like years ago. I remember listening to a podcast about this event and being like, that's crazy. Why is this not something that people talk about?
Right. It's pretty weird because I never even knew about this. So I guess we should probably just dive on in.
Yeah.
So this is an event of what happens when something's actually not slower than molasses. And it's molasses.
Yeah, because this is literally they dub it the great.
I had to for myself.
God damn it.
That was for me.
It's called the Great Molasses Flood, which I know, like, you think about, you're like, oh, a flood of molasses. Like, let me just calmly walk away.
Oh no!
Right.
It's
Whatever
getting
shall I do?
closer.
Yeah.
What should we do?
So this event occurred in Boston. This is January 1919. What happens is the storage tank collapsed, spilling 2 million gallons of molasses. That's a lot of fucking molasses. So now, just to put this in perspective, the tank that was holding the molasses was 50 feet tall, 90 feet wide. It's a fucking big ass tank.
Yeah. And apparently poorly made.
I'm going to get to that because actually what happened after that makes part of the standards we have today. Actually, part of the standards that you have to deal with is because of this.
Structural code.
Right. All that good stuff that you do over there. So this was actually owned by the Purity Distilling Company. They're a subsidiary of the United States Alcohol Company that was, at the time, they were making alcohol out of fermented molasses, but they also used molasses to make munitions during World War I. So obviously, World War I had just ended. This is 1919. I mean, this the year before the war had just ended. So 1914, 1918, obviously. But so they were making a shit ton of weapons with this. So they had a lot of molasses in order to do this. So, like I mentioned before, tank 50 feet tall, 90 feet wide. When it burst open, the report said that the wave, because there was a fucking wave of molasses apparently,
A tidal wave
was between 15 and 40 feet
Yeah.
What the fuck?
tall of molasses.
That's
a whole lot of molasses.
It is.
That is the wildest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so crazy.
Now, again, like the slowest molasses thing, it was actually pretty warm. So, for being January, it was actually pretty warm. It was like 40 degrees out, I believe.
Well, there's a few elements to that, too, because, like, they were, in order to cut costs to ship molasses, they would have it heated. In order to make because it came in from Cuba, because not only were they making a lot of molasses because, like he said, because of alcohol and because of World War I, but Prohibition was coming quite literally a year later. So these companies were like, let's fucking make as much as we can because it's going to be kind of fucking dead and gone after this.
Indeed.
But so, like, of course, it wasn't slow. It came in a wave because it was heated up, and then not only was it heated up prior to shipping, it sat in a fucking steel tank on a hot ass day, just getting fucking more.
It was hot for being January,
Yeah.
you know, it was. I believe they said it was 40 degrees that day, which, like I said, because the molasses itself was actually warm, it was traveling reported at 35 miles per hour. Which is faster than we can run, which is kind of terrifying when you think about that much molasses.
Holy shit.
That like it's like, oh, that smells delicious. Oh, I'm gonna die. And you know, it's
imagine seeing that. Like, there's molasses coming for our asses.
right.
Put that on a t-shirt. Aaron, write that down. New merch idea.
New merch. Yeah, DJ, if you don't mind, put that on the list.
I've been holding on to that for a long time. Like since like 9 this morning.
We have 2 now, so we're getting more merch ideas as our podcast continues. It's gonna be cool. Anyways, the not cool part though, there were casualties to this because, like I said, like there's a massive wave, a lot of molasses, and it was fast. So 21 people were killed, 150 people were injured. So with the molasses moving as fast as it did, it covered a lot of ground very, very swiftly. Problem was, it's also still the dead of fucking winter in Boston. So eventually it got cold and then became solid.
Well, can we just talk about like the consistency of molasses for a second?
Like the viscosity of it.
Like have either of you ever worked with molasses?
I mean, not physically, no. No, I've drank it.
So-
I put it with stuff, but you know.
So I've like made molasses cookies before, and like I've baked with molasses, and it is a pain in the ass. It is such a pain in the ass to work with. It's basically like tar. It's like very, very thick and very, very sticky. Like you are going to get sticky if you work with molasses. Think of like an extra thick syrup. Essentially. Like it's off. I can't even imagine. Like just molasses.
Kind of like
all
honey, maybe.
Kind of like thicker than honey. Thicker than honey. Like probably stickier than honey. I can't even. It's such a pain in the ass to work with. It's a little bit easier to work with when it's warm.
Sure.
Like you said, it flows easier. But like once it reaches kind of room temperature, it's like you don't want to touch that shit.
Yeah, that's what makes it so bad, because like it was heated up and it comes out in this fucking flood, and then it quite literally covers like just people. And they found people like up to like weeks later that got washed up in the river,
right?
Because like once the temperature cooled down, these people, like you said, it got fucking frozen. And not only is this sticky tar shit like hard enough to deal with,
you're stuck there now.
Yeah, you can't breathe either. I mean, it's it.
It's pretty fucking grimace.
That's really it. Like I said, it did flow into the river, the north part of the Boston River as well. So yeah, it was everywhere. So like I mentioned before, like 21 people were killed, 150 were injured. In today's money, it caused $100 million worth of damage to that area.
Yeah, like how the fuck do you clean that up?
That's what
I was getting to that actually. So
doesn't it kind of dissolve with water?
Eventually, it does. Like, because water will destroy it eventually.
I mean, it's like a sugar.
It's mostly sugar.
So it'll kind of dissolve. I mean, that's when you cook with molasses. It'll you run some hot water on your stuff and it comes off eventually. But eventually.
So it took, actually on that same topic, it took 4 days for rescue workers to clean up the mess.
Oh my god.
So
did they have even volunteers because people were just like free molasses?
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean it's like the whiskey flood all over again.
Wouldn't you have to
pretty much.
Damn near.
some twigs out of it or something?
Or a body.
You're like, oh
Yeah.
So that was just my neighbor. Hated him anyways.
I found your glasses.
Yeah, because there wasn't there like even animals involved in this.
Oh, horses.
God.
Yeah, horses that were caught up in this little.
Yeah, it was. There were horses that were caught up in the whole accident. So as I said, it took 4 days for people to clean up the mess. Like you mentioned, there were volunteers, but this is the fire department, police department, like just rescue in general, just trying to clean up this mess.
Let me just say real quick, I am not surprised that the horses got caught up in it because horses love molasses. Love that shit.
They love sugar.
They were probably just like, hell yeah, and they stood there.
Embraced the sweet death. I'm ready. I'm ready to go home.
That was the best way that horse could have possibly
It's just
died.
his fucking mane and shit flowing in the wind. Now's my time.
They love any kind of sugar though, man. Horses and sugar are just
Especially molasses.
they're with that shit. So naturally, almost predictably, they had to investigate what the fuck happened. So, as you mentioned earlier, there was a structural issue with it. It had actually started leaking before. Like, it was already kind of leaking a little bit.
They didn't have like any type of like the inspector who did the inspections. I'm not exactly sure what his title was, but he was involved in that American Alcohol Institute.
Yes,
and so he wasn't qualified. Like he didn't know how to read a blueprint. He wasn't an engineer. You know?
To make matters worse is not only could he not read a blueprint, he couldn't read in general. Like, they actually found out he couldn't actually fucking read. So,
and he was the guy that was like inspecting this thing to make sure like there was no leaks.
He's
or
just
anything.
like pretending to look at it. He's like, looks good.
If there was a leak, they quite literally they painted the tank brown so the town and people wouldn't notice it was leaking.
Just like it's one guy's job every couple hours to walk by and be like,
poop is candy.
just like lick it off the leak. Like,
Right. So like you said, he had no technical training. Dude couldn't read. There was no engineer or architect commissioned to assess the structure from the jump.
Yeah, like when you do structural code, if you're holding any type of material, a liquid or anything like that, nowadays there's a really strict code. What they do, it's called a non-destructive test, a NDT, to where they can test your welds and everything without damaging, like, which is kind of like, it sounds weird because if you want to test if the weld is good, you have to break it to see how it breaks, to see if it was done right, and that's how they do a destructive testing. But non-destructive testing is supposed to be kind of like just a visual. You can tell it was done right, this and that. They didn't do none of that shit to this fucking tank. The steel that they even used, like the base plates for it, was half the size of what today's code would have allowed. It was literally like half as thin as what it should have been to hold that material, you know, and no non-destructive testing was done. I mean, visuals were done, but very poorly
by a dude who didn't know what the fuck he was looking at.
See, I feel like every time there's like a weird rule or a weird like thing that you have to adhere to, you always think about like, I wonder what happened to lead to this. It's like someone had to have fucked around and found out.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, what was the day where someone was like, "Well, we can't let this happen again"?
Right. Yeah, it's always has to somebody done goofed.
Yeah, somebody fucked around and found out.
Yeah, this dude done goofed. So naturally, to avoid any blame on the company, the USIA, the U.S. State Alcohol Institute, started blaming the anarchists. So during this era of
Those
the United
goddamn
States,
kids.
oh right, but no. So
letting the molasses loose.
So at the time in the country, there was a big anarchist movement because people were just pissed off. The war had just ended. People were, still trying to recover back from that. So, and there was a lot of other shit going on at the time in 1919. Not the point. Anyways, so what happened is there had been about 40 bombings in the year prior in that area. So I thought like maybe the anarchists did it. Of course, we're gonna blame them. Well, it wasn't them. Obviously, it wasn't fucking them. They tried to play it off, but
you know what? The anarchist cookbook came out later in like the '60s, so it had nothing to do with.
No, yeah, this was way before that.
Were there any molasses recipes in that cookbook?
There probably is.
It wasn't that type of cookbook. And what's it have to do with explosives?
Yeah, there probably was a bomb recipe.
What's it have to do with explosives involving molasses, which I actually could believe.
More than likely there is, yeah.
It's like detailed instructions on how to blow up a molasses tank.
It's quite ridiculous. That book is quite ridiculous.
Right, it's a lot. It's a lot going into. Anyways, so obviously that wasn't the case. After they did some inspections on the rest of the remainder of the tank, and then like looked at what could have caused it, they noticed that 2 days before the tank exploded, it was 2 degrees outside. The day that it exploded was 40, which caused the warm molasses. Like I said, they were warming it. So the warm molasses was mixed with the cold molasses, which produced gases in the chamber, increased the pressure. Yeah, too much pressure, it exploded.
It was like literally fermenting in the fucking tank, creating like that CO2 pressure. It was like. It was just doing its thing, just being molasses.
Well, it was essentially turning itself into alcohol.
Yeah, just being some hot ass molasses.
Right, and CO2 with no release valve, it explodes. So anyways, obviously the USIA or AI or what the fuck, USIA, were found guilty of this and had to pay $15 million in damages. Now, it took a few years for them to actually do that because they were going back and forth with the court saying, oh, it wasn't us, we swear. But obviously it was.
Do companies ever just own up for their shit, ever? Are they
Of course
ever
not.
just like, oh yeah, our bad?
No. No. Well, this is actually the first example of the government actually holding a company accountable for a fuck up, though.
Oh, wow.
So that's what started. Yeah. This is the start of all of that.
Yeah, it's like 21 people killed by molasses. You got to address that.
Yeah, like you guys done fucked up.
Someone's got to get in trouble for that.
Exactly. Yep. And that's exactly what happened. So they ended up having, so they had to pay $15 million in damages of today's money. So I'm not sure how much that was then, but still a pretty hefty sum. Boston's building department started to require that any architect or engineer must have a signature along with all relevant calculations on the building plans itself. So yeah, this is more of what DJ does. Like when he does a weld, it has to have, don't you put your initials on it?
Yeah, so every shop, if you're a welder, you have a stamp. And there's like only an X amount of stamps. It could be like a letter, it could be like a little star, it could be a symbol. But if they got it done in my company and I did that weld, after I do that weld or whatever piece I'm welding on, I stamp it with that. And mine's used to be the letter D. Now there's many letter Ds, but there's only one at my job. That's me. So if wherever they trace it back, if that weld fails at any point and it was inspected and tested and 16 people looked at it before it got there, then 16 people are now involved in this investigation. Everybody's involved, all the way down to the fucking welder, because they're going to be like, all you certified cocksuckers didn't fucking see this.
Yeah.
We pay you all this fucking money and nobody caught this, why it's done wrong. And it could be like various, there's so many different reasons it could be, but like, yeah, it's rigorous. Like it goes through a lot of eyes and machines before it actually gets to where it's going, especially if it's holding, like I said, any type of liquid or anything, and it's going to be around people. They inspect the fuck out of those things.
Right. So this is what, right. So this is the beginning of that being a requirement. Obviously it became a nationwide requirement after so long too.
Real quick, you said it was 15 million in
today's money. Yeah.
In today's money. Okay, I fucked that up. Yeah.
Oh, it was 15 in today's money or 15 in
I was like, Jesus
money?
Christ, that's a lot of money right now.
Okay. So it was probably like $8.
And a bag of peas.
A bag of peas.
And a jar of molasses.
Your best cow.
So the thing is, obviously, because of the amount of molasses that was spilled, 2 million gallons is a lot. Even after they clean up for decades, actually, that part of Boston would smell like molasses if it got hot enough outside.
Wow. Molasses smells pretty good.
It's not terrible, I suppose.
It's like a sweet smell. It's like a sweet caramely smell.
Yeah. But I'd be kind of mad about it every day for the summer. Like, oh, it smells like molasses outside
Imagine
again.
If, like, one of your family members died in that flood, and then like
just a reminder.
Forever, you have to smell molasses.
It's like, oh, gam.
Not gam.
Yeah. So $1 now is equivalent to 0.08 cents.
So not even a whole straw penny.
19. You don't even get a tenth of a fucking penny.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
Yeah, so like $5 and
bag of peas.
A bag of peas.
And a jar of molasses.
And they're like, you guys can have all the molasses you want forever.
So yeah, I don't actually know when it stopped smelling like molasses, but they said the article that I found just said decades. I'm not sure when that stopped.
To this very day.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
That would be kind of cool.
That'd be like just like somebody listens to this in Boston, like, man, fuck you, it still smells like that.
Yeah, we'll have to go to Boston and investigate that.
I actually plan on going to Boston anyways for other reasons, but yeah, that'd be funny.
Doesn't Hershey, Pennsylvania smell like chocolate? Or it's supposed to?
I didn't drive through there, so I don't know.
I fucking hope so.
I think it does.
That's a massive factory.
I'm pretty sure everyone who's been to Hershey says like the whole town smells like chocolate.
Well, the town was built for the factory, if my memory serves. So that would make sense. It's a massive fucking factory.
And the streetlights are shaped like kisses. I can tell you already don't want to go there.
carry on.
Tech Daddy's already annoyed by the entire town of Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Because fuck you. Like, I just...
Let it out.
No.
Let it out. Get it out of your system.
Just... Anywho, so that's the story of the Molasses flood. We did recently do a poll to see what kind of merch we should be doing soon. We did see that. I believe it was a hoodie that won.
Yep.
So I'm going to get to work on that soon. However, I'm not rushed on it. I mean, it's fucking warm out, so it'll be done soon. It'll be done before fall.
Yeah.
So you guys will all have the advantage to buying that. Shout out to our friend Heather, giving us the new design options. I'm going to be using that soon to make some tank tops. That was on the list too, and I saw people didn't want a tank top, so I'm going to be getting on that soon. Coming out with some new colors for the original logo as well, so keep an eye out for that. We're going to have new merch very, very soon, and it's all going to be very cool. So keep an eye out.
Yeah, we're super excited for that.
Yeah, it's time we have something new anyways. We haven't had any merch in a while, so, it's time we come out with something new for y'all.
Yeah.
But I need to stop being lazy. Final Fantasy came out, man.
That's what we were joking about earlier. Like, if there was like a molasses flood in Indiana, like it would be like, we got to get out of here, Aaron. Aaron would be like, okay, let me finish this boss battle real quick.
I gotta save.
Yeah, what about my fucking save? Just saying. Fucking shit takes forever. Anywho, I mean, it's a good game though. All right, but yeah. So like I said, we're gonna have some new merch coming out soon. As always, we appreciate you guys listening to us. Please give us a like and share. By the way, I haven't asked you for that.
Go follow us on TikTok.
Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on social medias. I sent out a bunch of invites recently for the Facebook page. I think like 2 people saw it. That was cool.
Yeah.
Everybody's on TikTok all the time, so you guys can give us a little fucking...
Give us a little love.
Little click, something. We're going to start doing some cool stuff with that once we start acting like old people about it.
Well, the problem is we've been so fucking busy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been traveling the last 2 months.
It's been a busy summer, man. Yeah. It's been real
I'm finally
busy.
back. I am back for another month. Then I'm leaving again in August. So while I'm fucking here in Indiana, let's fucking get to work on some shit.
All right.
So
sounds good.
But yes, like I said before, we appreciate you guys listening to us. We'll have some new merch out for you soon, like I said before. Give us a like and share on everything. Share it with your friends, because they need to know about Molasses floods too.
Yeah, go up to your friend and be like, "Hey, you ever hear about the Great Molasses Flood? Listen to it on Required Taste."
Yeah, molasses flood, a balloon massacre, a whiskey flood.
There was a whiskey flood. That was one of our early episodes.
We got it all here.
That was one of our very first episodes. Was about a whiskey flood. Go back to listen to that guy.
Yeah.
Go back in time. Indeed.
Still got to find that whiskey.
Yeah. Anywho, we appreciate y'all. So thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Y'all be cool.
Have a good one.
Bye.